Hi, I'm Radek and you are watching my video about valuable postage stamps and about whether they are also interesting as investment asset. Some of you will probably say that this guy must be crazy. Investing my money in postage stamps? Who is collecting actually postage stamps nowadays? Probably some older people, like the guy on this picture. Well, yeah, that's true. The most of the collectors are a bit older, but it doesn't matter. There are still quite a lot of young people starting collecting again and again. Have a look at this second picture. This second picture is from the famous German auction house Heinrich Köhler. And this is the photo of one of their, maybe even the first auction at that time in Berlin. This auction house is now based in Wiesbaden, in western part of the Germany, but at the beginning of their auctions they were in Berlin. When you have a proper look at this picture, can you see any young people there? To be honest, I can't. And this picture is from somewhere around 1915, so more than 100 years old. And already at that time, people were talking about philately as a dead hobby. That when these people die, nobody is going to collect anymore and the hobby will die as well. And it was in 1915. So now we have 2023, the hobby is still flourishing. Okay, it's not flourishing as it used to in the 1970s and 1980s, but there are still millions and tens of millions collectors worldwide. So it's not a dead hobby, it's still alive, pretty much alive. There are tens of millions, some estimation are between 20 and 50 million collectors worldwide, which is, well, okay, quite a big spread, but it doesn't matter, 20 millions is still enough. And how about the market? How big is the market? Again, it's quite difficult to make an estimation because a lot of business is done privately. Okay? But it is estimated that somewhere around 10 billions of American dollars is the yearly annual turnover in postage stamps. 10 billion. Some sources say even 15, but well, let's stick to those 10. I think it's still okay. And out of these 10 billion American dollars annual turnover, approximately 10%, which means 1 billion, is in rare and investment stamps. That's not bad, I think. 1 billion American dollars per year as investment, it's okay. And this is not just about rich markets, huge collectible markets like USA, like Great Britain, like Germany, but also small countries. I'm from the Czech Republic originally, and this market, there are just 10 million people living there. So it's smaller than New York, it's smaller than Shanghai, one city. But there is still very interesting market. Approximately there is a turnover somewhere around 40-50 million American dollars per year in this small market. And there are tens of thousands small collectors, tens of thousands in a small country, which is not the richest country in the world. But people do it. People collect and people invest also money in collectibles. It is estimated that in a small country like Czech Republic, there are somewhere around 200 really strong investors and collectors who invest without any problem tens of thousands of American dollars, sorry, per year in postage stamps. The biggest collections in this small country have value in millions of American dollars. Well, now tell me, some of you have probably never heard of this country in the middle of Europe. But it doesn't matter. But as you can see, there are still a lot of collectors and a lot of investors. And if we would have a look on German market, on American market, on Chinese market, which is really huge, the numbers look totally different. It is very important to say that the amount of collectors, of those traditional collectors, is declining. It's going down. Because people have many more interesting things what they can do nowadays. They have computers, they have a lot of stuff what they can do. They don't need to collect anymore. But there are some countries where even the amount or the number of these small collectors is growing. It's like Russia, India, China, and so on, emerging markets. And what is more important, the number of investors is growing. People who invest in these tangible assets. People who consider stamps, people who consider art, coins as interesting source for future income. This number is growing. And what is really nice, stamps are, the sale of stamps is tax-free. So if you invest in postage stamps and you have to keep them for a certain amount of time, you are not allowed to sell it within 1 week or 1 month or whatever. If you invest in postage stamps or art or coins, you can sell them tax-free. Usually you have to hold them for approximately 1 year, but it's fine. I believe that if you invest in these assets, you should invest for longer than for 1 year. And what is really very important in this hobby, that there is a very, very long-term excess of demand over supply, which means there are not enough valuable stamps for everybody. How is that possible? Well, have a look at it this way. Since 1840, all countries around the world issued somewhere around 900,000 different kind of stamps, which is really a huge amount of number. Plus there are many varieties and so on and so on. But out of these 900,000, just let's say lower thousands are good for investment purposes. And these are stamps of which not many survived. I'll give you an example. Great Britain. Stamps of Great Britain are collected by collectors all around the world. It's not just in Britain. These stamps, like people in Australia, people in South Africa, people in USA, people in Romania, and so on and so on. And the point of collecting for many collectors, not for all of them, but for many collectors, is to collect all stamps which have been issued in a certain country, for example, Great Britain. So, Great Britain is being collected by tens of thousands collectors around the world. Tens of thousands. That's true. That's just fact. But there are many stamps of which just 5 or 10 or 50 or maybe even 100 pieces survived. So now we have tens of thousands collectors who would like to have all British stamps in their stock books, but there are stamps of which just 100 survived. So can you see demand, supply. It's simple math. It's really easy. So, and this is what drives the prices up all the time. Because when in the moment when one of these rare stamps appears somewhere on the market or at auction, there usually are just two collectors who would like to have this stamp. And then they fight against each other. They place their bids and drive the prices up and up and up. This is nothing new. This is how the business is running actually for last 100 or more years, because auctions with postage stamps is nothing new. They are here really a long time. There were auction houses in the 19th century already. And some of them are still in the business nowadays. Wow, amazing. Some of them do just with focus just on postage stamps. They don't auction anything else. They don't auction coins. They don't auction art and so on. They do just postage stamps. And still they manage to make tens of millions American dollars turnover per year. Wow, that's not a small market, is it? So let's have a look at some really important points when collecting stamps. First of them is it's a huge concentration of value. There is not any other item in the world where you could concentrate a huge value in such a tiny item. The most valuable postage stamps is valued somewhere over 8 million euros or American dollars, it doesn't matter nowadays. These postage stamps has a size of your fingernail. Now try to make a pile of gold which would be worth $8 million. Or diamonds. You will have to have some of them. So if you want to concentrate a huge value in tiny piece, the stamp is without doubt the best item you can do. It's a very high mobility. These products, let's call it product, you can transport them around the world without any problem. This was, for example, a huge advantage before the Second World War. Have a look at all those rich Jews which were forced, which had to flee away from Europe because of the Nazi regime in Germany. These were rich people. They had huge factories here. They had nice old paintings. They had cars. They had a lot of property. But everything had to stay back in Europe. And many of them survived in the overseas just because of their rare, valuable stamps. Because a stamp, you can just put it in your breast pocket or anywhere else and go. No one finds it. You can do something similar with diamonds, but well, to find the diamonds here by some normal check, you can do it. It's not so difficult. Or a rare golden coin. You will feel it, but stamp, it's a tiny piece of paper, nothing. Stamps have global reach. You can sell rare, valuable American, British, Chinese, Indian stamp anywhere in the world. Anywhere, without any problem. It's liquid in global currencies, without any problem. Again, they are independent from or of macroeconomic phenomena, which means we have again and again some crises, financial crises. Financial crises have been here with us for 200 years and more. It goes up, down, and so on. Valuable collectibles, including postage stamps, are independent of that. So in the time of financial crisis, where bonds, where shares, where properties go down, postage stamps don't go down. They stay on the same level, or even their value grows because the demand grows. Because the traditional investors who usually invest in bonds, in shares and so on, in these days they are looking for some safe havens. They are selling their shares and buying art. They buy coins, they buy stamps. Okay, they sell it afterwards again, but it doesn't matter. But in the moment when they sell it after the crisis, the prices do not drop down, because in this moment, the normal, ordinary collectors have again money. They don't have, they are not afraid about their future. So they start buying again. So the prices can quietly go slowly up, up, up. It's not about hundreds of percents appreciation. The appreciation is maximum in lower tens of percent, but it's, I think it's quite fine. Another important point: investors who have bonds, shares, and alternative assets, in the moment when they need some money, they usually sell those which I've mentioned the first place, shares and bonds. Because if I sell today my shares of Apple company or Microsoft, doesn't matter. I can buy them again tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or in a month without any problem. But if I've invested my money in nice painting, which is on the wall in my living room, I have it for 5 years there, I really usually do not want to sell it to have an empty space on my wall where I'm looking every day at this wall. I see it. I don't want to. So investors do the same. They prefer to sell those investment products which they can buy again. Next important point: there is a finite number of classical stamps or coins or paintings. If we are talking about shares again, any company can issue new shares again and again and again. But Blue Mauritius, there are just 12 pieces in the world, and there will not be more in the future. There will be probably less, because it might happen that some of them will get damaged and so on. So there is a finite number of these rare products, rare collectibles. Another advantage is that tangible assets cannot go bankrupt. Company can go bankrupt. That's as simple as that. With these products, with collectibles, it cannot happen. Very simple. Another advantage in investing in collectibles is that it's a confidential investment. If you invest in shares or bonds, it's usually somewhere written down in some register, it's registered. But if you buy a rare, valuable item, collectible item, it's not registered. Okay, if you buy it at auction, it is registered at auction house. But buying and selling really valuable items goes quite often through some middleman, or how you call it in English. Sorry for my English, I'm not a native speaker. So there is somebody, if I'm the owner of Blue Mauritius and I want to sell it at auction house, I usually go to someone who takes care of that, who offers it to auction house, and then even the payment can go through this person. Take it this way. Some 5 years ago, in a small country, again, like Czech Republic, an investor and collector bought a Blue Mauritius stamp. This procedure or this purchase, it was written about it in every big medias around the world, because it's Blue Mauritius. Everybody knows Blue Mauritius, even you. We have year 2023, and even if it's in Prague, in a small Czech Republic, when everybody knows everyone, it's a small market. Just a handful of people knows who is the owner. So that's it to confidential investment. Okay. Next important part is that the prices cannot be influenced by anybody. Prices of shares can be influenced without any problem. It's not a long time ago when the shares of company GameStop were influenced by ordinary retail. They just make some deals on internet and they brutally influenced prices of these shares. And it was retail. Very simply, you can't do that with stamps. Even one person can influence the shares or currencies. Do you remember Soros years ago and his attack on British pound? Hell, he influenced the price of British pound, of the most stable currency at that time. One guy. You can't do that with stamps or with paintings or with coins, because this market is not concentrated. It's everywhere. Everywhere. So it's not possible. Next very interesting point is that according to Goldman Sachs, I don't think that I have to explain to investors who is Goldman Sachs, what kind of company it is. According to one of their report, until the year 2030, some 2 billion people should join or expand the middle class. And this is very important because middle class is the class which collects. Really poor people, they cannot collect. Poor people, they have to make money, they have to work 18 hours a day just to make enough money so that they can buy their bread tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. But middle class doesn't work 18 hours a day, doesn't work 12 hours a day. They have money, they have time, they go for holiday, they buy a nice flat, they buy a car, and they want to do something in their free time. And some of them collect stamps, collect nice paintings, collect art, collect coins, and so on and so on. So if there will be 2 billion new people who expand the middle class, well, I think some of them will collect. And it means again, demand. Demand will grow again. Another important point is that there are a lot of VIP collectors around the world. People who really give additional value to this hobby. One of them is, for example, Bill Gross. Never heard of him? Well, this guy is a co-founder of PIMCO, which is a huge multi-billion dollar company dealing with bonds. And Bill Gross is also called bonds guru. And if you browse the internet again, if you Google a bit, you will find out some of interviews with him where he quite openly said that the best money he has ever made was on postage stamps, not on bonds. There are some other really interesting guys. Count Douglas, this is a Swedish noble, very smart guy, owner of many really multinational companies, who also spends his money for stamps. There are British King Charles. The Royal Philatelic Collection is very well known around the world. Also the coin collection is very well known. People like Anatoly Karpov, which is former best chess player in the world. From the old guys, let's talk about Rothschild. Rothschild was at his time, the richest guy in the world. He liked to spend money in stamps, and so on and so on. if we have a look again in small country, because the big countries are the same again, but I like to give examples from small countries so that the collectors and investors don't think that this is just everything about USA and Britain and Germany. Even small countries are interesting. According to a Czech version of American Forbes magazine, 5 out of 20 richest people in the Czech Republic spend their money for collectibles. That's not bad. The same is with J&T Bank. J&T is a famous Czech and Slovak private-owned bank, and their customers, their clients, are the richest people in these countries. And according to J&T Bank Wealth Report, some approximately 20% of their clients also invest in collectibles. I think it's amazing. But okay, let's have a look on British market again also, because British market is quite important and it's one of the biggest collectible markets in the world. I have found on the internet this wonderful chart, which is a bit old, but it still doesn't matter. On this chart you can see FTSE 100, you can see UK property, and you can see there also that according to this chart, since 1995 the value of Britain's 250 most expensive stamps has risen by 433%. Which is amazing. It's really amazing. Compare it to FTSE 100, which has risen by 320% only in speeches, or British property, 252%. Or gold. Investors love gold, 261%. So from this chart you can see really very interesting comparison with traditional investments. So it is a nice chart, and if you want to see more from some independent people, there is so-called Dimson's Index. Dimson's Index was made by two scholars, two guys who have nothing to do with postage stamps, with collecting, with investing. These are scholars. They do theory, the theory. Okay. These guys took the most valuable British stamps, some 150 most valuable British stamps, and they checked their value from 1908 until 2008. They have checked how the value was developing, and they have found out that the value grew in real terms of some 3% when you deduct the inflation and so on and so on and so on. Okay, nowadays you might say when there is a huge inflation and so on, 3% is nothing special. But some 5 years ago, or in the last 100 years actually, it's not bad. But these guys, they made a huge mistake. They didn't diversify the portfolio. They took just those 130 or how many British stamps. If they put in their portfolio valuable American stamps, German stamps, Chinese stamps, Indian stamps, and so on, the number would look totally different. Diversification is really important. So they made this mistake. However, it doesn't matter. There are still wonderful 3% net. Another guy, some Richard Lehman, which is a nice, smart man from the USA, and he's a contributor for American version of Forbes magazine for many years. He made something similar. He took a few hundred of stamps from all around the world, and he came to number of 7% already. So we are approaching slowly S&P 500. You have also appreciation somewhere around 8, 9, 10%. And with these stamps, we have already 7%. And Mr. Lehman did this very well, except again, one point, he had in his portfolio some cheaper stamps. And these cheaper stamps, they influenced the value of growth down, because those cheaper stamps are not really so good for investment. Okay, so these are some numbers from people who actually don't deal with postage stamps. All right, so if you want to invest in stamps or any other collectibles, it doesn't matter. There are a few points which you should focus on. First of them is quality. Always buy the best of the best. If you have two absolutely identical stamps, I'll show it to you later. One of them will be a bit damaged, the second one will be better quality. The better one with better quality will be always more expensive and the demand will be much higher. Second point is rarity. Try to search for rare stamps. As I have already said, there are many stamps which survived until today in just a few pieces. Rarity is very important. But again, be careful if you have two stamps of which just one survived. One will be from a stamp of Great Britain, the other one will be a stamp of Bulgaria, whatever. The British one will be always much, much more expensive than the Bulgarian one. Why? Because British stamps collect many more people than Bulgarian stamps. So rarity is fine. Also Bulgarian rarities are fine, but you have to be aware that selling a Bulgarian rarity will be more difficult than selling British rarity. But you can make money on both of them. Next one, provenance. Very important point. If you have two absolutely identical stamps, totally identical, one of them will have provenance in the collection of Radek Novak. Who? Yeah, me. And the second one will be will have provenance in the British Royal Collection. Which one do you think will be more valuable? Of course, my. Just joking. Of course, the British, the one from the British Royal Collection, because that's provenance. If the buyer has this stamp, he can show it to anybody and tell him, have a look, this stamp used to be in the collection of British Queen or British King. And it adds value. However, the most important point is demand. You can have the unique stamp or unique coin or unique whatever, just one piece existing in the world, but if there is no demand, it has no value, zero value. Zero, nothing. Okay? So demand is important, so always try to buy stamps with demand, with many collectors buying it. I have already said it, Bulgarian stamp, there will be always lower demand than British stamps or German stamps. So, now have a look at the quality point of view. I got here two stamps which I would like to show you and explain you how important the quality is. So these two stamps are absolutely identical if we are talking about catalog number. It's according to Stanley Gibbons number 177. You might say, okay, the one on the right side is a bit shifted to the right, but it doesn't matter. It does matter, but it's not so bad. But the one on the right side has also nipped perforation in the upper right corner, as the perforation is a bit damaged. These stamps were sold at the Shrev's Philatelic Gallery's auction in 2007. The first one as lot number 165, and it made $40,000. The second one, which was sold as the next lot, lot number 166, was sold for $15,000 only. So this is a huge difference, as you can see, and it's just because of the quality. Okay, let's go further. If you decided that you would like to start investing in some collectibles, doesn't matter whether it's postage stamps or anything else, how should you start actually? First important point, make sure that you will invest for 5 or 10 years or longer period. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Don't invest in these assets. You should always invest just money which you can invest. You should have some cash on bank account so that you can live. If in case that you lose your job, you should have enough money so that you can live out of that for at least half a year, or even better for 1 year. This is what I do, okay? And the rest of the money I can invest in anything I want. Secondly, diversify always. Even if you want to invest just in stamps or just in coins, even there you can diversify, which means don't put all eggs in one basket. Don't buy just British stamps. Don't buy just German stamps. Don't buy just American stamps. Don't buy just Chinese stamps. Buy something from China, something from Germany, something from British colonies, and so on and so on. Diversify. Next important point is the sum. How much money should you actually invest? Well, it's up to you. How much can you invest? How much can you spend? There are some advisors, financial advisors, who say if you want to invest in collectibles, you should do it with at least tens of thousands of dollars. Forget it. It's not true. You can invest from just a few $100s. To buy a first stamp of the world, British penny black, cancelled, not a mint one, but cancelled with stamp, you will need somewhere around, let's say, $200 only. And these stamps are with high demand. You will be always able to sell them without any problem. But focus on quality. Don't buy damaged ones. Always buy good quality. Where to buy? There are many possibilities. You can buy from a collector. You can buy at auction houses. You can also buy on eBay or some local eBay. But there I would be very careful, because you can get a great purchase on eBay or similar platform. You can buy there for really almost nothing, really interesting stuff, but there are also a lot of fakes, really a lot. So be very careful. There is a lot of scam on these platforms, and if you buy something like that, it will be difficult to get your money back. So, well, if you want to start, always buy stamps or coins or whatever with worldwide demand. So Ideally, as I already said, Britain, USA, and so on, stamps which are collected by collectors all around the world. There are a lot of nice Polish stamps, there are nice Czech stamps, there are nice Dutch stamps, but well, these are okay, you can buy them, you will be always able to sell them locally without any problem, but if you want to have a bit of security, go for worldwide demand. And when I'm talking about security or safe haven, there is nothing like security, 100%. There is always a risk that something happens. Postage stamps are being collected since 1840. Now we have 2023, so it's a lot of time. But no one gives you a guarantee that postage stamps will be still collected in 2060 or 2080. Also, no one gives you a guarantee that Amazon or Apple or Tesla will be here in 2030 or 40. You never know what happens. You never know. Guarantee, there is nothing like 100% guarantee. Be aware of that. Now let me tell you what I'm focusing myself on. First of all, British colonies. British colonies are great. There are a lot of rare and valuable stamps which you can invest in, and you will always find something interesting with big demand. There are many stamps with small run. Stamps of which just 100 pieces were issued, for example. Just 100 pieces, it's nothing for all collectors all around the world. I try to focus on stamps with the British colonies, the colonial stamps with a high nominal value. Very interesting. Very interesting might be old stamps from Iran, Persia, from Turkey. Also old Russian stamps are very interesting. Try to have a look for Mauritius. Mauritius postpaid. 1 penny and 2 pence. Very interesting stuff, and they are not expensive. Depending on quality which you would like to buy, you can get them for just 200, 300, 200 not, but let's say 400 American dollars and upwards. They are really interesting. So-called number ones. So first stamp of Great Britain and in the same time of the world, British penny black, or American number one, or Swiss cantonal number ones, or some old German state number ones, Saxony Free Pfennig. It's interesting stamp, and so on. Then you can focus on stamps like newspaper stamps, first newspaper stamps of the world, so-called Austrian Mercuries, are with high demand among the collectors. So there are a lot of really possibilities on which you can focus on. Okay, so now we are approaching slowly the end of my talk. So we have here a nice chart which I would like to show you and explain you. So this chart shows or is from JP Morgan Asset Management. I don't think that again I have to explain anybody who has something to do with investments who is JP Morgan. Great company. And this chart shows us expected return and volatility in portfolios which are mixed of shares and bonds, plus additionally they show us the expected return and volatility of portfolios if we add 20% or whatever of alternative assets, like collectibles, for example. As you can see from this chart, the expected return is higher and volatility is lower. So, and this is from people who have nothing to do with dealing with postage stamps or coins or art or whatever. These are financial guys. They are hard financial guys, very hard. And as you can see in their asset management, they show their customers this chart with alternative assets and the advantages if you diversify your investment portfolio into alternative assets. Just think about it. I think it's really not bad. So that's it, guys. I hope that you liked my video. I have more videos on YouTube running, and I'm preparing still new videos. I'd be really very happy, and that I would very much appreciate if you would give me a like, of course. Please follow me on YouTube, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or whenever, LinkedIn, wherever I am. I'll be always happy to have more followers. I'm not a YouTuber professional. I'm not an influencer. I will never be, because this is just a hobby, and it's a relatively tiny hobby. But if you give me a like, it gives me the feeling that I do something what other people want to hear. They like it. That's it. So, thank you once again for watching, and I'll be looking forward to see you at the next video. Take care and bye-bye.